My name is Sophie Green. I am 34 years old. For the last 12 years, I have lived with something inside me that I never let out. Not to my family. Not to my friends. Not even to myself. It was not a small thing, not the kind of secret you forget or push away easily. It was heavy. It lived in me like a stone pressed against my ribs. For years I told myself it was better to stay quiet, better to say nothing, better to pretend I could live like everyone else. But silence is never empty. Silence grows. It follows you everywhere. I built a quiet life for myself. I worked in a school canteen. I cleaned tables, served food, washed dishes. It was not glamorous, but I liked it. I liked the simple rhythm, the clatter of trays, the hiss of hot plates, the smell of bread warming in the ovens. I liked the sound of water rushing in the sink when I rinsed the dishes. The kitchen had its own music, one I could hide inside. At work, people thought I was shy. They said, "Sophie doesn't talk much. She's quiet." They smiled when they said it, like it was something sweet about me. I smiled back, but inside I was not smiling. Inside I was always careful. I stayed away from trouble. I kept my distance. When the last bell rang and the children left, I went home. I lived alone in a small flat, one room with a little kitchen and a bed by the window. I didn't need much. I didn't own a television. I didn't go out for drinks. I didn't invite people in. My world was four walls, a kettle, a small drawer with a photo inside it. The photo was of me and Aaron. When I was young, life was different. I wasn't always so quiet. I had a best friend, Aaron Thomas. We grew up together, went to school together, walked home side by side with our bags bumping against our legs. She was loud and funny. I was quiet, but she liked that about me. We balanced each other. She filled the air with stories, and I listened. We ate lunch on the same bench every day. We shared secrets about the teachers we didn't like, about the boys who never looked at us, about the lives we dreamed of. Aaron wanted adventure. I wanted peace. But somehow, we still dreamed together. After school, she worked in a mobile phone shop, and I worked at a bakery. We didn't see each other every day, but weekends were ours. We met in the park, sitting on the grass, talking about everything and nothing. I remember one day as clearly as if it happened yesterday. We were lying under the tall trees, the sky stretched wide above us. Aaron rolled onto her side, looked at me, and said, "I feel like something big is coming, Sophie. Something's about to change." She smiled when she said it, the way she always did when she said something dramatic. At the time, I laughed. But now, when I think of it, my skin goes cold. Because after that day, everything did change. It was a Thursday evening when the phone rang. I almost didn't answer. I was tired from work, hands still sore from kneading dough all day. But I picked up, and Erin's voice came through the line. Her voice was not the voice I knew. It shook. It cracked. "I need to talk," she said. I told her to come over. She arrived quickly, as if she had run the whole way. She sat on my bed, her hands trembling, her face pale. I had never seen her like that. "What happened?" I asked. She looked at me, eyes wide, filled with fear. "I saw something today. Something I wish I hadn't seen." My stomach turned cold. "What do you mean?" "I can't tell you," she whispered. "But I think I'm in danger." Danger. The word sounded unreal in our little flat with its kettle and its single bed. "Did someone hurt you?" I asked. She shook her head quickly. "No. But I saw something. And I think they know I saw it. I haven't slept. I keep hearing noises outside my window." Her hands were ice cold when I held them. "What did you see?" I asked again. She looked at me, and for a second I thought she would tell me. But then she said, "I can't say. Not yet. I'm going to the police tomorrow. I have to. I just wanted to tell someone first." I didn't want to carry it alone. I wanted to beg her not to go, to stay safe, to hide, but the words stuck in my throat. She stood up, hugged me quickly, and said, "You'll know soon, Sophie. I promise." That was the last time I saw her alive. 2 days later, the news broke. A girl was found by the river. It was Aaron. The words didn't make sense. I felt the floor tilt beneath me. I sat down hard, unable to cry, unable to breathe. I went to the police. I told them everything Erin had said. How she came to my flat, how she said she was afraid, how she planned to go to the police. I gave them every detail I could remember. The officer nodded, thanked me, said they would call if they needed more. No one called. A few weeks later, the case was closed. They said it was an accident. She slipped, hit her head. But I knew. I had seen her face, her fear. She didn't slip. Something had happened. And I knew something else, something I didn't tell them. Because the night Erin left my flat, she forgot her coat. I grabbed it and ran outside to catch her. I saw her across the street. She walked quickly, head down. Near her work, a man waited by a black car. She stopped in front of him. They spoke for a few seconds. She looked angry. He grabbed her arm. She pulled away. Then, after a moment, she got into his car. I saw it all. I was across the street. I didn't hear what they said. I didn't see where they went. And I never told the police. I was 22, scared, confused. I told myself maybe it meant nothing. Maybe he was just giving her a ride. Maybe if I spoke, they would look at me, drag me into something dark, something I couldn't handle. So I stayed silent. After Erin's death, I left the bakery. I moved to a new town. I took the canteen job. I made new rules for myself. No friends, no late nights, no questions. Every year on her birthday, I took out the photo from the drawer. Erin laughing, her arm around me. My face turned toward her, smiling back. And every year I whispered to myself, next year I'll speak. Next year I'll tell the truth. But every year passed, and I didn't. Until the day it all came back. It was an ordinary morning. I walked to work, tied my apron, served food. Just before lunch ended, a group of visitors arrived to give a talk to the older students. I wasn't paying attention. I was wiping trays, stacking plates. Then I heard a voice. My body froze. I turned my head. And I saw him. The man from the car. The man from that night. The last man Erin ever saw. He stood in front of the children, smiling in his neat suit. His voice was calm, practiced. He looked safe. But I felt sick. The tray slipped from my hands, crashing to the floor. Heads turned. I bent, picked it up quickly, and hurried to the back room. I sat on the floor, shaking. My heart raced so fast I thought it would burst. For 12 years I told myself I was safe, that I didn't need to say anything. But now he was here, in the same building as me, speaking to children. I couldn't stay silent anymore. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at Erin's photo. Her smile, her laugh, her voice echoing in my head. You'll know soon, Sophie. I knew. I had always known. The next morning, I didn't go to work. I sat at my table, staring at my phone. I opened the police website, read how to report old cases. My finger hovered over the number. I put the phone down. Picked it up. Put it down again. Finally, I called. My name is Sophie Green, I whispered. I need to talk about an old case. A girl named Erin Thomas. She died 12 years ago. I saw something that night. I think it's time to tell you. The woman on the line was silent for a moment. Then she said, please stay on the line. I'll connect you to someone. I waited, trembling. A man came on, asked me to come in the next day. He said they would reopen the file. That night, I didn't sleep at all. But for the first time in 12 years, I felt something new. Not peace. Not joy. Something closer to bravery. The next morning, I put on my best coat and walked to the station. I sat in a small room, told them everything. The last time I saw Erin, the man by the car, his face, his voice, his suit, his car, the school where he worked now. They wrote it all down. When I left, the air outside felt lighter. I didn't smile, but I didn't feel invisible anymore. Weeks passed. Then they called me back. They showed me footage from a shop camera across the street. Grainy, old, but clear enough. Erin crossing the road. The man waiting. Him taking her arm. Her pulling away. The two of them walking out of frame. Do you know who this man is? They asked. Yes, I said. Alan Murray. He works at the school. The officers looked at each other. One said, we know that name. From there, everything began to move. Other women came forward. One said Alan had frightened her years ago. Another said he was her manager and made her feel unsafe. For years, they stayed silent. But now, because I spoke, they found their voices too. I met one of them, Leah, in a cafe. We sat by the window, talking for an hour. She was younger than me, but her story echoed mine. Fear, silence, shame. She said meeting me made her feel stronger. I told her she wasn't alone. For the first time in years, I didn't feel alone either. A newspaper wrote about the case. They didn't use my name, but they told the story of a woman who stayed silent for 12 years before finally speaking. The article said, "Sometimes the bravest thing is to speak even when the world has already moved on." I folded that article and placed it behind Erin's photo. Then, one evening, the police called again. Alan Murray was arrested. Not just for Erin's case, but for others. Things buried for years, things no one dared to speak about until now. When I hung up, I sat in silence, hands over my mouth. Not crying, not shaking, just still. Arrested. After 12 years, the truth was awake again. I went back to the park where Erin and I used to sit. Our old bench was still there, under the tall trees. I brought 2 flowers. I placed one on the bench, held the other in my hand. I spoke out loud, my voice trembling. "I'm sorry I waited so long. I should have told the truth sooner. But I'm speaking now, Erin. I'll keep speaking for you." The breeze rustled the leaves, soft, like an answer. A month later, I stood in front of a group of women at a small event. My voice shook at first, then grew stronger. I kept a secret for 12 years. I thought silence would keep me safe. But silence doesn't protect truth. It hides it. Truth matters, even if it comes late. Even if no one listens at first. Speak when you're ready. Speak, even if you shake. I'm here today because I finally spoke. The room was quiet, then filled with clapping. Afterwards, a woman hugged me and whispered, "You gave me courage." I smiled and said, "You already had it." That night, I looked in the mirror. I saw the same face, but not the same woman. I was no longer the quiet girl in the kitchen. I was someone who spoke. Someone who remembered. Someone who gave Erin her voice back. Time doesn't always heal. But truth can. I will never forget Erin. I will never stop missing her. But I will keep telling her story. I stayed silent for 12 years. Not anymore. Now I speak. We all go through hard times, but stories like this can help us feel seen. Thank you for watching and come back for more real moments.